I have been taking my allergy medicine, so now when I talk for long periods of time, my throat hurts because my throat is dry because the pollen has been getting all up in my system and hasn't my body's immune system hasn't been having the correct response to it. So that's fun. There's a Cells at Work episode about antihistamine. It's really funny because like there's really no happy ending to that episode because um, correct me if I'm wrong, but your body's response to the allergen is the histamine, and it fucks up your system, which is why you're still kind of blech after you take an allergy medicine. That's why you
That's one of them.
sneeze and cough. And were you saying something? My
Yeah,
boyfriend's here.
that's one of them. There's like six.
Six what?
There's like six things that your body makes that's like, hey, this ain't on. Attack it. And by that I mean not it, everything around it.
Hmm.
Like I literally just had my immunology final, so it's like,
My boyfriend's smart. Uh. Anyway, so the Icarus Girl by I ma'am, I'm not going to try and pronounce your last name because I just like it's one thing if you're here to correct me, but since you're not, I'm just going to call you Helen O. Uh, if I had to take a guess though, I would say Oye Yemi. I hope that's right. Someone can correct me if anybody sees this video. Uh, Books about African culture, because that's what this is. It's called Icarus Girl. They are hard for me because I have no frame of reference. Like Pan African books about any African culture are difficult for me because I have no reference. I assume except Egyptian because for a while there I was kind of obsessed with all mythology, so I just researched Greek mythology, Roman mythology, Egyptian mythology, Japanese mythology, Native American mythology. I was just all over the place with the mythology. Norse mythology was my favorite, and I bet you can't guess what movie series did that to me. But anyway, um, yeah, like there's so many cultures in Africa and also Native Americans because if people don't realize this, South Americans also have Native Americans. But there's so many different cultures for Native Americans in Africa that I just don't know where to start because there are the countries and there are some people who identify with the countries and there are some people who don't identify with the countries and I don't even know where to start. I need a starting point. I'm not giving up though. Uh, Jessamy, Jessamy is the main character of the story. Um, she's in the cupboard because she likes being in the cupboard, and everything is too fast outside. I get that. Sometimes I just need to be in a small space with zero stimulation, or at least little stimulation. Um, Her mom is looking for her, and her mom is worried because Nigerian children play a lot, but English people can be standoffish and grow out of it. They live in England. So Jess wanted to go to Nigeria, but on the plane she has a tantrum until her mother slaps her, so she calms down. Uh, Once in Nigeria, her mom is just careful now. Her father and she don't speak Yoruba. Um, I don't mean to pronounce it like that, but for some, like, I just, words like that, because Yoruba sounds weird to me. I can't even really say it right. Yoruba sounds weird. So Yoruba. Uh, Jess meets her family, and it's awkward. Her name in Yoruba is Wu Raola, which means gold. And this book is also stream of consciousness, so that did not help because I don't like books that are done stream of consciousness. The book Beloved by Toni Morrison, I believe, is also stream of consciousness. I don't really like that book at all. Um, I had to read it for class. It was awful. Um, Jess's grandfather sent her mom to study medicine, but instead she studied English, so he's mad because, white people. Uh, I'm not sure what to write. I think there's a ghost in the boys' quarter of her grandfather's compound or a sneaky person. I couldn't tell if she was a ghost or a sneaky person. Her name is Titiola. Tilly Tilly is what they call her. So now they're friends. And laughing at someone, this is a separate fact that I realized from the story because Tilly Tilly did it to Jesse. Laughing at someone while they try to learn your language and their pronunciation is not good is not a good thing to do not everybody is really good at pronunciation. And the only time you should really laugh at someone is if they're doing it on purpose. Like, but even then, if they're doing it on purpose, you've probably pissed them off, so now they're doing it to annoy you. She plays with Tilly Tilly. I like the description of the clothes. I think Tilly Tilly knows things about this family, and by that point, I was just, I got bored because I don't really care for stream of consciousness. And it's not that I don't like the story. It was just if it was third person omniscient, I believe that's called, I would probably like it better. This type of writing just doesn't jive with me. I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Granted, though, with Beloved, I don't really care for the story either, so... Now we're going to talk about The Dye of Death. If you remember, the author of this book has gotten a publisher in America to accept his books. So they were taken off of Amazon because his publisher in America is currently looking for a new home. It makes me very sad because I really want to finish this series, because there's a thing that happens at the end of this book that all the characters just kind of dismiss, but the next book is called The Wrongful Death, so I don't think they should have dismissed it. Anyway, it's the second book in the Great Devil War series. Philip is no longer the goody two-shoes, and he's just more like your average kid, because your average kid is gonna have some fuck-ups, but every kid's got fuck-ups, so who cares? He's a little cruel, though. Just like a little cruel. But who can go to hell and not come back differently? That's what happened in the first book, by the way. He wants to see Satina, who is the demon girl that he fell in love with. Philip has not been doing very well lately. He's just been letting his grades slip and all of that. He's been lying and stuff. Your average delinquent, honestly. Martin, an ex-friend, isn't buying the change. I wonder if that's going to change by the third book, although these books take place mostly in hell, so who even knows? Martin's being an ass. But Sam, the bully from the first book, the one who I said was sadistic, has Philip's back now, because, you know, sometimes when you accidentally almost murder someone, you decide to take things a little bit differently. Anyway, he misses Satina, nearly gets hit by a car again. She tempts him a lot, but he rarely listens these days. He sees a zombie horse his friends can't see. Death, you know, the personification of death, is trying to get his attention. And his mom doesn't know about his little jaunt to hell, rightfully so. She's dying, though, so that's fun. The three-legged horse wants Philip to come to hell again. Death's name in this book is Mortimer, so I'm going to call him Mortimer. Philip goes to meet him and gets conked on the head, killing him for a second time. So Mortimer asks Satina to meet him, to bring him to his home. Because, you know, I really don't think killing the boy is very healthy for him. Just saying. There's got to be easier ways to get him to hell without killing him. That horse is the hell horse, and it means death is coming if you see it. And he saw it twice, so death was coming for him. You want to know how fucking irresponsible death has been? The reason the book is called The Dye of Death is because there is a literal die that Mortimer rolls, and that decides how many lives you get, how many years you get. Some people get 100, some people get 2. Yeah, he lost that. Someone stole it. Because, you know, people can just sneak up on death. Apparently, death goes to sleep sometimes, so it was stolen during that time, which is fucking ridiculous, but whatever, I guess. It's been 2 weeks now. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was death and my die got stolen, day fucking 1, I'm calling in reinforcements. Like, that's not good. It's been that amount of time in Mortimer's realm is half a year on Earth. I'm calling in reinforcements within the first hour. Motherfucker. Like, without the die being rolled, immortality can run rampant. Also, I know I already mentioned that the die is 100-sided, but could you imagine doing a D&D game with a 100-sided die? That'd be ridiculous. Anyway, So Philip thinks that this is a good thing. It's not a good thing because death is very necessary, despite what some people think. Um, Also, in this book, because you know how sometimes in fantasy book immortality is defined differently. Like in some books, usually the ones that have vampires, it means that you like age to about 25 and then just stay looking like that for the rest of your life. In this book, immortality does not mean that you stay looking like that for the rest of your life. So, not a good thing. Um, there are hourglasses that they have for people's lives. And the sand, instead of running in one direction, is now running in two directions. Again, not good. But anyway, um, yeah. So also the sand shows the most important memories in people's life, not just the good ones, just the most important ones. The color of the sand is their aura. That's fun. Um, Also, if the hourglasses break, it's Coma City. Remember that because it's important. Philip keeps seeing something in the room. It's a snake, and the snake's poison gives you eternal life. But I think it also like instantly ages you to like death zone. I wasn't really sure what happened at the end of this book. Um, Mortimer needs Philip to figure out who did it without clues, except one. It can't be an angel or a demon because immortality would cancel them out. So, yeah. Um, Philip finds his own hourglass and wonders what would happen if he were to flip it upside down. Um, I don't think it's actually answered what would happen if like he would start to age backwards or whatever, but he always just I just don't think killing the boy twice is a good thing because I imagine that what happens in the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth book is that every time he has to go to hell, they kill him. I real I just really think that if a doctor were to look at him, he'd just be like, "Sir, you have been clinically dead 6 times. I really think you need to like just stay in a padded room." If I was this doctor, that's what I would say. He's been like, "Are you kidding me, dude? How has no one found his body? If it's like, if, if, I guess they're rewinding time. I don't fucking know. Um, he finds his mom's die as well. Not die. He finds his mom's hourglass as well. She's only got a little bit of sand left. That's how he knows that she's dying. She ends up with a brain aneurysm and she dies. Mortimer tells him how, and Phillips wants to help his mom. So Mortimer promises another role if he can find his die. So the sand is running normally again by day 2, which means that someone is rolling the die, whoever's got it. So they find a lead because by stealing the die, the thief stole the darkness. So like where Mortimer lives, because he doesn't live in hell, where Mortimer lives, it's like lighter outside or whatever. They find some prints, and the prints go to the stairs, but the stairs lead to hell. They think that it might be revenge from Aziel and his mom, those two fuckers that poisoned Lucifer, that poisoned Lucifer in book 1. So yeah, but they go down the stairs and they can't find hell. There's no hell there, but there's a condemned there. So but it can't have been there long because where they are is where the accursed are. Those are just beasts who I guess never made it to hell, or maybe they're just lost souls. It's not really explained. The vampire knows who Philip is, and whoever told him about Philip he won't say who told him about Philip because whoever that person is worse. This entire time I was expecting it to be a new character. You'll never guess who the fuck it was. When Philip is there, he gets attacked by I wrote a mare, so I'm assuming that's like a horse. I don't know why a horse would attack him, but the window was closed when they went to sleep, so somebody let the mare in. They find out Grumblebeard, the Hell's Gatekeeper from before, he's been condemned to escape the fire from the previous gatekeeper to take over. So could be him. Grumblebeard wants forgiveness, so he's sent to purgatory. So Philip and Satina go there. So the die. I think I did some quick math just because this is taking a while and I got a little bit bored. So 385,000 babies are born a day, right? So if 6 weeks in hell is 18 weeks on Earth, thereabouts, then 2 months may have already passed on Earth since Philip showed up. I know someone's using the die, but that's a lot of, like, if you're not Death, who's just, like, programmed to do that shit, that's a lot of times to roll the die. 385,000 babies born in a day. Either I did that math, or the book told me that. So, Philip's dad comes to see him, because if you remember, his dad is dead from before the story. I don't actually remember how he died, but whatever. His dad wants to take him away to heaven, but that wasn't actually his dad. It was the condemned who escaped many years ago. I don't know if you remember me mentioning that, but there was a condemned that escaped with the help of Grumblebeard many years ago, and yeah, they still don't know how he escaped. They find the dog who had the die for a moment, and yeah, how did the die get stolen? At the beginning of spring, Death sleeps deepest for one night. Seems like a security flaw because people still die in the spring, but whatever. Yeah, I didn't really know what was going on. So, the previous gatekeeper, he has Death's die because they think that the die will help them, but it won't. It only works on humans. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, so demons, right? Demons can't die, but they're still aging. There's an old people's home in hell, and they have aged to the point where they just want to die, but they can't. But they keep rolling the die because they think that it will work on them, but it doesn't. It only works on humans. So they have to end up making a deal with Death. And they make a deal with, like, the devils and all that, and Lucifer, but it can't just work on one group of people. It works on all of the devils, either all the devils or none of the devils. So, he ends up making them mortal so that they can die, which is what they want. So that's nice. They go fulfill Mortimer's part of the deal, which is a reroll for Philip's mom. Can you guess how many years she got? Because life is unfair. She only got one. Because, you know. Also, apparently in heaven, angels have been able to die for a very long time now. Hell's just catching up on this. That's kind of hysterical to me. At some point, the angels were like, you know, we kind of hate this shit, so why don't we just... No immortality, please. I wonder what they do with them. What do you do with a dead angel when you live on clouds? Although I suppose in this book, since it's not literally clouds, they probably do have a graveyard, don't they? Philip's dad shows up again. It's not Philip's dad. It's Aziel. So, yeah. Yeah. Aziel's dad is the condemned who escaped hell all those years ago because Aziel's mom helped him. He was a human. Aziel killed his mom because she loved a human. Oh, that's what it was. So with the snake, right? Because the snake touches him. If you're bitten by the snake, you get eternal life. If the snake touches you, you die. You age rapidly and die. The snake is literal time. Also, during the fight, Sam, the former bully, his hourglass gets cracked. And Death's just like, it's fine. What? I really don't think that that's fine. Meandered a bit there in the middle, but it was just the setup for book 3. I still like it. Philip wasn't a caricature of a bad kid, which is what I was worried about. He just seemed rather normal to me. He wasn't obnoxious like in the first book, but just normal. If I were Mortimer, I would be more careful. 'Cause, like, you know, every single year that one day out of all of the years, you fall into your deepest sleep. I would be a bit more careful because you know what? If it got out that Death's die could be stolen pretty fucking easily, I might add, that wouldn't be good. Yeah. Also, remember how I said that if your hourglass breaks, it's Coma City? What about if it cracks? He doesn't run into Sam in the end of the book, so I don't really know what that means. The next book is called The Wrongful Death, which is about Sam. So, like, I take it that, dismissing the fact that one of the hourglasses is broken really wasn't a good, not broken, it's cracked, really wasn't a good idea. Like, he just fucking dismisses it. Like, what the fuck? What? Um, yeah. I'm still kind of bummed that Philip didn't really learn anything in this book. In the last book, he learned that it's no one really likes a goody two shoes. Like, not like, I'm not into snitching culture and all of that, but I have two older sisters. Every time we tell my mom something new that happened when we were children is kind of hysterical. But we didn't tell her when we were children because we were looking out for each other. No one likes to be told on all the time. It's really fucking annoying. Like, it's not a good way to make friends. Frankly, it's kind of a really easy way to get people to push you around and step on you like a doormat because they know you'll always be honest. Like, um, yeah. But in this book, he didn't learn that death is kind of an essential part of life. So, um, I'm about to kind of launch into a little bit of a rant about death as a subject. So if that bothers you, I highly suggest that you click away now. Um, Look, everybody would love it if those that they cared for could live forever. But you have to let go, especially when life is just pain and suffering for you, because after a certain age, like, you can be healthy as you fucking want to be. But human bodies are dumb smart. I heard a gynecologist say that once. They're dumb smart. Your brain can be as active as it wants to be, and you can still have the mind of a 30-year-old, but you have the body of a 90-year-old, so I'm really gonna need you to sit down somewhere, Grandpa, before you hurt yourself. Like, sometimes people, I think I hate to bring him up, but Prince Philip said that he didn't want to live to be 100. I think the exact quote might be, the worst thing that could happen is to live to be 100. Like, you've been around for a century, dog. And then he made it by about 2 weeks. I think he died like 2 weeks before his 100th birthday. Like, come on, man. Why are you still... I don't mean to sound rude, but like, fucking dude. Also, I just want to say that I believe Charles is the son. They got so many names over there, I forget. Charles is 3 years older than the average retirement age in Britain, and he's going to be king one day. There is no living king there's no king ever who has used the internet. That's kind of hysterical to me. Yeah, like, humans don't coexist with death. That's also a thing. That's why we're so scared of it, because we don't know what's after this, or if there is anything after this. That's why religion exists, because it gives us an explanation for something that we can't understand. Which is fine and all, you have got to know when to let go. Because that goes for both people. The person who is, I hate to say it like this, but dying, and the person who doesn't want them to die. You both have to know when to let go. It sucks, but it's a reality of life, so you really shouldn't be that scared of it, because there's a person in the world living who's like 116, and there's also a 16-year-old who has an autoimmune disease whose life expectancy is 5 years. It just happens, my guy. There's no rhyme or reason for it, and it sucks actual ass cheeks, but what you gonna do?